That is, just absolutely a fact. Obviously, they've beaten us a few times now. They've been getting closer and closer to LCS. They went 5 games against G2 at MSI last year. So they're getting closer, at least against, LEC, LCS. The question is, how much has the gap closed between you and the LPL, if at all? And I think this is going to be an exciting opportunity for the Loud players to try to prove that, hey, we can compete with the Eastern regions as well.
And it's also a big demonstration of what JDG is really bringing to this tournament, because against Gen G, they didn't show as much. They really did get rolled over. So let's see what they brought to us as we jump straight into the pick and ban.
Expecting Varus as the last ban. Varus has been kind of living on the ban list thus far.
Karma as well.
Karma
also been
too.
very high priority. Are they willing to let that one through? It seems the Pantheon.
Trade.
Yeah, everything's going to be up and available here in this first game. I mean, when I think about these mid laners, Ryze and Orianna are the priority bans, which then naturally increase the value of Ahri, specifically when paired alongside things like the Vi, the Jarvan, and the Pantheon, which, of course, a lot of these junglers are banned.
And I kind of am assuming that it is just going to be a Karma for Varus trade. Right now, JDG has to decide which side you want. So, I'm kind of expecting you go Varus, then they're going to take the Karma Ezreal, or, kind of vice versa. That would be my expectation. But instead, it's going to be Vi as the first pick. So
that was kind of my read as well, because if you choose to lock in the Varus, then it makes it very easy to have that lockdown with the Vi. And Loud now seem a little bit paranoid about giving over that Ahri to HongQ. But yeah, maybe they just prioritize getting that strong bot side of the map. But do you want to run the risk? Do you feel you can protect your AD carry into what is inevitably going to be a heavy dive comp coming through from JDG?
That's where Karma first pick can be valuable too, right? Because I do think if you go Karma Ezreal, if that's going to be your option, that can be pretty viable. But of course, it's not going to be the choice here. Both teams showing dive. Vi there for JunJia is going to be the option. And we have Nocturne as well as Aurora. So, very classic dive setup here for Loud. You hit the paranoia, you turn off the lights, in comes the Aurora on the flank, and there is the Ezreal Karma.
Yeah, I mean, you called it, right? It's oh, so you're going to pick dive into us? Okay, then we'll just do what we think you should have done, and go for the disengage. Ezreal Karma now a very safe bot side of the rift.
And now I already feel like JDG have kind of won out in the first 3 pretty heavily, because you can answer with Varus here, but Varus isn't safe in the dive. They already have a very heavily pushing bot lane. Varus, if you want to match the 2v2, can be strong, but you are going to be a real target, whereas the Ezreal is so difficult to knock it down. So Sion looking like the option here for xyno. So we were wondering, are there going to be counter picks on the top side? Instead, it is not. But I don't know how you feel. I'm not the biggest fan of blinding your top when you are last pick here as Loud, because now they've blinded both their solo laners.
Yeah, they have.
And you're going to have protection bans on the bot side for JDG's bot lane. And I don't even think with the protection bans coming through, you can get a winning 2v2 for Loud, because you already have Karma Ezreal. So I kind of feel like you got no advantage by being the last pick.
I mean, it seems that their game plan has been very much priority. When we look at their most played champions this year, Sion is xyno's most played. We've got Envy with the most played on the Aurora. Nocturne, it only follows the Kiana with Jarvan already banned out. So Loud's game plan here in game 1 seems very much, we want to play stuff that we feel confident on, we know we can play well on, and we'll see how much of an impact it can have. Perhaps comfort over like what seems to be on paper right now a favorable draft for JDG. They're going to remove the Varus anyway, just because of how strong of a laner he is. That does make a lot of sense.
Rumbles up.
And the other thing is, in my head, I'm like, maybe you consider Braum into the amount of dive, but Braum into Ezreal Karma is just an absolute miserable time. And so I'm thinking now, what supports can you do? Is it a Aphelios Thresh angle, where with something like the Lantern, maybe you can create some space between you and the Vi, especially Aphelios likes it when the opponents come onto you. Sivir is also a good ban. That Spell Shield going to offer a lot of value, which Loud will not have access to.
And I'm really worried that they left up Rumble, right? So now it's you're thinking about what are the safe AD carries. You do naturally think about Xayah into dive, but they don't. JDG doesn't have to commit to full dive, right? Because they can play a poke style comp if they want. I'm expecting JDG, would go towards the Rumble with that up and available. And the question is, what kind of AD do you want to go for? If you lock something that is, really safe. Seraphine is still available, so it's probably just going to be Seraphine Ashe.
Looks like it, yeah.
And it looks like that is going to be the answer. And now JDG gets double counter pick in solo lanes, got to blind an incredibly powerful bot lane. And I feel like they're going to be just so happy. I mean, you essentially know whatever the pairing is with Ashe, the comp doesn't change. So you have full information with Rumble up. That was the expected one for me. And then it's just a question of what does HongQ want to go? I mean, you could even look towards... Yeah, Galio I think could really work with Vi. There's a few options for sure.
Yeah, I mean... you're getting a little bit deeper into the pool. I mean, we're seeing this a lot with Ahri, Ryze, Orianna, all banned away with the Aurora, also picked off the Rift.
What do you think about Yone? Or you think it's just too bad into the Aurora for the lane matchup? Because I always feel like Yone plus Rumble is just such a nice combo.
I mean, it can be. I think that it's just, there's too much front line on the side of Loud. It's when you have this much range available to you with Rumble, Ezreal, Karma, I feel like it just kind of goes against what it is that you want to do. TF does make a lot of sense to me just because now it's very JunJia-esque in that, like, you just play with patience, you play with your range, you keep your opponent at arm's length, you chip away at their HP, and then when you finally find a target that's low enough, you single them out, you burst them down, and then you go on to win with the numbers advantage. Of course, Loud do have a decent amount of dive on their side. As an avid Nocturne enjoyer for the majority of my career, I always like to see things that can follow up with the Nocturne. A pairing alongside Aurora, I think, can be effective, just because when you turn the lights off, it makes it easier to connect things like the Ashe Arrow, like the Seraphine ult, the Aurora burst can come through. But at the same time, I feel like that there's no real Ezreal threat. I feel that Nocturne by himself is not enough to put pressure onto an Ezreal, especially with the Karma by its side. And so I do like the range advantage that JDG just have. If they can play a patient game and they can leverage the space that they can create with this composition, I think that the pressure is going to be on Loud to find those engages and execute better than JDG.
It is definitely really scary. And yes, Sion obviously is a great frontliner. Yes, Nocturne does have Spell Shield, but Gold Guard lands on anyone except Sion, and they can get 100-0.
Absolutely.
You know, so I do think that is very, very scary. HongQ is going to be set up for success, you know, later on in the game. You expected rapid fire usually comes in third, but sometimes people will go at second if they feel like it is just that valuable in a game like this and you don't need any more damage. So will be interesting to see what Loud can get done, but I do feel like they gave up a lot of the power of being last pick. You know, when you are blinding everything and you are last pick, you're giving the team that got first pick a super strong bot lane, double counter pick in solo lanes, all the compositional answers they could want. It is hard to think that the underdogs would be in a comfortable spot given that.
But hey, they do have comfort picks for themselves, and right now that seems to be their game plan coming into game one. Obviously, the fan support is strong here in Sao Paulo, and we'll see what they can do. Expectations are very much the JDG are the favorites coming into this best of 5, but Azael did hit us with some crazy facts earlier. It's heel far at first stand, JDG yet to win a game. Let's see if they can do that against Loud here today.
Yep, it's going to be a fun one. Loud definitely not a team to go down without a fight. I definitely think it could be in for a pretty scrappy series. I mean, Loud traditionally does play a little bit more slowly, but I think when they are pushed, they are not just going to bleed out. They are going to look for engages. They are going to look for fights. So I think it should be pretty fun if they can hold up, you know, during the laning phase. And that really is, I think, the big question. If you can get past that check, then it becomes much more about how you're playing the map, how you're actually playing the setups, which I think is going to be very difficult compositionally, but is going to be a pretty big chance.
Yeah, and I mean, all eyes are on JDG and how they're going to be looking in the series, because as we mentioned earlier, against Gen G, they really did not show us much. They kind of got rolled. It was an incredibly fast series that did not go their way.
And live on patch 26.06, check out Warhound Senna. A portion of the skin's proceeds will be shared across the LOL eSports teams. So if you want to support the squad, buy the skin, and hopefully you'll enjoy it.
Keeping my eyes on the junglers now, both pathing towards the bot side of the map. Deep ward invested from JunJia means that he will spot out where YoungJae is. Level 3 early secured for HongQ, and these globals are going to be really important once we get that level 6 mark. Turning the lights off could make things a little bit harder for the Twisted Fate, but who's going to be the first to make that global map play on the Rift?
And you can see GALA and Vampire pushing in on that bot side, pulling out Bull and RedBert a little bit. RedBert has already had to use both of his potions, so that's going to hurt a bit. Xyno doing a good job on the top side for now. It is not going to be first strike, as some of the top lane rumbles do love to take into tanks. Instead, it is Comet, so playing a little bit more aggressively for the lane. We'll see how Xiaoxu can handle Xyno, who has just been such a standout in the CB lull. You know, came in, used to be an AD carry, was quoted as saying, you know, that there was no good top laners in Brazil, so he's going to go to top. He goes to top, and he's immediately the best top laner in the CB lull. So sometimes you talk the talk, and you can also walk the walk, but this is going to be dangerous for YoungJae. No way you can contest that bot side scuttle.
Far too difficult. YoungJae instead is going to set his sights on mid. The spell shield really effective against the Twisted Fate. Fun fact, this used to be my favorite Nocturne mid matchup. Nocturne into Twisted Fate.
Ooh. He's going to try to contest. JunJia's actually following him. YoungJae is going to wait in the brush, does throw down the fear, and will push him back. So We'll see if he's going to be able to actually get this topside scuttle, because Xiaoxu has full prio. Xyno has been shoved back to his tower, so now this gets a little bit awkward. Envy was hugging towards that top side as YoungJae still on the scuttle. The smite is not available for YoungJae. He's going to lose this to JunJia. He'll just walk up and smite it. The question is, can he get punished for doing so? And I think the answer is likely to be yes. He should have to flash here. The flash to follow, barely can't get him, but he does with the Q, knocks him down for first blood.
I mean, an unnecessary contest from JunJia. Yes, he had his smite up. Yes, he steals away the crab, but Nocturne, those small movement speed buffs on the Q doing some work there for YoungJae as he draws first blood against JDG.
I've also got to say, HongQ TP'd to the mid lane and then just didn't walk to support him.
He didn't, no.
HongQ could have just walked left and saved him.
You're completely right. I'm looking at the minimap. That Twisted Fate is like, the comms have to be, I'm fine, not fine anymore. First blood goes over to YoungJae. And as expected, the crowd erupts.
Yeah, the comms are just not my lane, not my problem from HongQ.
Good, so I'm 300 gold up, okay?
Exactly.
I'm farming a treat over here. I mean, yeah, so a small blunder from JunJia. We know that, I mean, internationally, it is not a great record for the CBLOL when they've met up against the LPL. That one win that they do have, let's see if my memory is correct. I want to say it was 2016 INTZ versus EDG. The group stages where them getting that upset win actually really had a pretty big impact on the group. Actually allowing HDK to come out as first seed off the back of that. But overall, it has been a very LPL-dominated affair.
It absolutely has. And while, of course, you know, the LPL is favored against really everyone except the LCK, last year at First Stand, we thought the same thing with TES coming through, and TES only ended up getting one win. We're not going to mention who that was against, but they ended up having a bit of a shocking tournament, right? You know, we were going in and like, oh, okay, well, they lost HLE, that's expected. All right, they're back on their feet. They beat TL. Of course, they're going to win out from here, right? And they were just getting smacked. They were getting 2-0'd, and it was kind of a shocking result there for TES. So, you know, if you're loud, you have to go into this with confidence. You have to believe that it could be possible to pull off these upsets, and HongQ could be in some trouble. He's going to try to use the ult to get out, and will be able to do it. Stay safe, but that is a long cooldown, and it is going to be gone for now.
Yeah, I mean, nice gank. He's going to get the help on pushing mid out. Envy's then going to be given the freedom to roam around the map. Are they going to look to contest this dragon? It has been started off by JunJia. Level 6 now secured by YoungJae. Oh, actually, I stand corrected. JunJia's just been sitting in the pit. The bot prio does give him access to this objective.
He's just having a chat. He's not starting it up, okay?
It does very much seem like that he's... What is the game plan here for JunJia?
He's going to try to catch YoungJae out potentially here. YoungJae has the paranoia up and available, and now he will aggro that dragon, which will push JunJia back out of the pit. MB moves, RedBert is here, so this should be the scuttle for YoungJae, but JDG do still have push on the bot side, and that is going to make taking the dragon pretty difficult.
Absolutely. I mean, GALA and Vampire continuing to gain advantages in the bot lane 2 versus 2. Already gotten a kill's worth of gold simply through stronger laning thanks to the matchup. And HongQ, Twisted Fate passive coming in clutch, really helping to generate his own individual leads. And so far, even though giving up the first blood, not the ideal way to start for JDG, they're still in a very good position based on how the laning phase has gone so far. Speaking to Nymera and other LPL pundits, I mean, often this team is often determined by the success of JunJia. Sometimes he can make horrendous plays that can cost his team the game, but he can also be that miracle maker, that man that can make the magic happen. And while so far this early game hasn't gone his way, he's still by no means out of this game in any way, and his laners are really doing a lot of work to put JDG in a fantastic spot.
Oh my god, I mean, they're just hitting every single skill shot against Bull and RedBert here, and RedBert had to use the heal, has to go back to base. And this is a bit of a problem. You're already down 20 CS in that bot lane, 2v2, isolated 2v2. You've already lost one plate. GALA likely to take another here as well. So they're going to have to try to find some way to get some relief. But when you lose all that pressure on bot side, Vampire gets to walk in for free. He wards out Nocturne. That's going to be moving to his blue buff. And getting deep wards really is the key to avoiding these Nocturne plays. Because if you don't know what's coming, it's very difficult. But you can see on the top side they have wards. In the bot side they have this ward. It is going to get cleared out. But still, you know where the Nocturne is going to be for the next couple minutes, and the river has 4 pink wards for JDG.
Absolutely it does. And I mean, this dragon start, I mean, I feel like both teams are eyeing it up. It's a very late Dragon start, given the context of what we've seen so far here at first stand. Usually the team that has that bot prio will be wanting to kick this objective off, but because of that small lead that YoungJae was able to build up earlier, they are a little hesitant to start that one off. Level 6 working towards for RedBert. He'd love to get that before any major objective starts, but instead I am quite surprised to see the Grubs be the priority here, given how low impact it feels that this objective is in the game right now.
Yeah, I agree, but I guess they just feel like, hey, you know, HongQ isn't at a super strong part of the game. You know, you don't necessarily want to take a fight into the paranoia, into the between worlds, you know, maybe worried about the power of those level 6 ultimates, and YoungJae is over here, has the paranoia ready. They spotted out that this objective was being taken. JunJia will get 2, still has a smite, so he's going to get all 3 Grubs. Despite the TP coming in from Envy, YoungJae didn't want to just flash into the pit and flip it, and JunJia is able to secure all 3.
Yeah, I don't love that YoungJae was mainly just being a spectator there. There was opportunities to clear out the bot river vision, maybe even threaten a gank onto the bot side of the map. He has his ultimate available to him, and we need to be seeing this Nocturne just using it. I think it's so important for Nocturnes to have some presence on the map, and even if they're just burning flashes or trying their best to make things happen ahead of things like Dragon objectives, like you need to get those flashes out, otherwise it just becomes a lot harder to do your job as you get into the game.
Yeah, he's looking pretty homeless. It's like you're just kind of wandering back and forth. You're warded out everywhere. There's no camps for you to do. He doesn't feel comfortable to start the Dragon. Yep. Everything is on vision. Even when he's not on vision, you're seeing JDG pings on where he's going to be, right? You just saw a ping on top side over by the red buff from JDG. They're saying, yep, this is where he's going now. So Xiaoxu, watch out, as HongQ and Vampire will be pushing forward here to push Envy back. It's been a slow bleed. I mean, it's first blood for Loud, but they're down 1.3k at 10 minutes, and JDG are just creating these incremental advantages. The Unstoppable Onslaught going to come forward here from Xyno, is going to be able to get a pretty good amount of damage down onto Xiaoxu, but he has his TP, uses the Equalizer to clear out the wave, and no real threat of a kill.
So keeping track of that ping.
Oh, they're going to go in with the paranoia. Xiaoxu could be in a lot of trouble here. The Fear Tether will surely connect, and that's going to be a kill, but is it going to be a kill back? YoungJae barely surviving, needs to get out of range of those minions. Has a couple health to his name, but that's more than one, and that's all you need.
So he does get the ultimate off. He makes a play happen on the top side, and he gets himself another kill. A nice play, but JDG are being proactive on the other side of the map. They secure the Dragon. You've got JunJia stealing away the Grom. They're threatening the bot tower and funneling more plates into GALA as HongQ just continues to farm in mids. I feel like exactly as you were saying, Azael, YoungJae's just kind of roaming around the map, and JDG are punishing his positioning time and time again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been great tracking throughout this game thus far. And the fact that they have all these pushing waves is really helping with the Grubs.
We look back at this play, a lot of the early damage done by Xiaoxu, the Nocturne, clearing his topside camps, has the ultimate available to him, needs to try and make something happen because he knows that the Dragon is going down, commits to the dive, and I mean, Xiaoxu, he nearly gets a kill back here. Literally, like, any other form of damage would have been enough to trade like 1 for 1. Oh, and Xiaoxu dies to that tower.
But it wasn't execute.
It wasn't execute,
yeah. So respect, you know? He ends up getting taken down, but it doesn't matter. There's the Coinbase gold grind. YoungJae out to a little bit of a gold lead with those 2 kills for himself. Bull getting pushed back as the Destiny is popped. RedBert and Bull have been taking a bit of a beating, but they've kept the tower alive thus far at least. There's a nice little sidestep there from RedBert on the True Shot Barrage comes through.
Yeah, and the problem with game states like this is... Barrier.
Ooh. Tries to use the barrier to get the recall off, but he's not going to be able to do it. Now he is rooted up. The Encore comes through, but there's no one tanking the tower just yet. RedBert gets 1 shot, and Bull, you got nowhere to go, buddy. That's going to be a double for JunJia. GALA walks it out, and JDG strike back. Now they're up 3K.
The poke is unrelenting. The advantage that they have gained only continues to grow. And while Loud, like, they don't often generate early game leads, but you just, against a team like JDG, you can't just let them run the Rift like this. They find an opportunity in the bot lane. YoungJae is no way to be seen. And now they, like, we're just barely 13 minutes into the game, and it's a 3.7k gold lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? They were already down a lot of gold even with the kills because the lanes were going so poorly, and obviously the TF passive cheating a little bit there, but still, the laning has just been better, and even though YoungJae got a couple of kills, look at the CS differential between the junglers, right? Because JunJia has just been being very efficient. They've been tracking where the Nocturne is, and he has been power farming on the Vi, and now is able to cash in on a couple of kills down on that bot side. and that means that Bull and RedBert are going to be kind of out of it a bit. GALA is nearly going to have his second item, and it was most of the way there, and Bull's still working on that first because he went for the Berserker Greaves early, so he's going to be very far behind, especially when GALA does get that second item and gets the Ramana going.
Yeah, I mean, so Loud is in this really awkward spot now where all of the responsibility falls on YoungJae to make things happen. And the reason why is because, as you're seeing, if JDG just get to play the lanes, they win. TF is just passively farming gold just by laning. And GALA and Vampire just win the 2 versus 2. So if there is no action happening, JDG is just winning. Because they are just chipping away at your towers. They have greater vision control. They always have the prio. And it's just Loud is bleeding gold away. So all of this responsibility falls on YoungJae. And you can see that he is fishing, but he's largely just spending his time as an observer.
Yeah.
And like they know exactly where he is right now.
I mean, it's so tough. There's 3 wards on his top side jungle. So he started walking down. He's like, oh, maybe I can go for Xiaoxu. But JDG had already been preemptively assist pinging down on the bot side. So they walk up, they hit the vision plant, they spot YoungJae. They know he was on this side of the map, and now he's not going to really be able to do anything as JDG has prio in mid and bot. They move to the scuttle. It's going to be a teleport in here from xyno to fight over the scuttle. Seems a little bit much because the Dragon's not there for 45.
You can tell that the pressure is really getting to Loud. JDG, again, keeping to this mantra of we don't need to do anything. We can just let them make the decisions and then we just react accordingly. And with the TP committed, what does that mean? Oh, there are camps I can steal. Oh, Xiaoxu. Envy
in a lot of trouble here. Xiaoxu is overheated. Envy going to try to trade back with the Between Worlds, gets a little bit of damage down. Yeah, I'd be very scared about that. Paranoia going to get popped. They're going to look for a dive here, but Xiaoxu is pretty healthy. Pops a scrap shield, flashes back, trying to survive. They will knock him down, but it's going to cost them one of their own. YoungJae sacrifices for the squad, and JunJia is coming in looking for Envy. Can't quite get him. The teleport barely completes. I thought he was dead to rights.
Yeah, I really thought so too. But he's able to get away. It ends up being a 1-for-1, but that's still a massive win for JDG. Xiaoxu got the whole wave, traded 1-for-1, and now with no jungler, he can just start dragging off no problem. So that's going to be another objective gain for JDG. And you can see how difficult it is for this Nocturne to find plays on the map. He's pretty much only successfully ganked the Rumble. And in both instances, the first time he nearly lost his life, but the second time he did.
This could be dangerous here. They are TPing into the top side, and there is the decimating smash waiting for him. Xiaoxu has no flash, but is he going to need it? The crystal arrow comes from downtown, and it does connect. Another knockup. It's taking him some time. The scrap shield back again. The overheat is there. He's trying to get one back. Can he get xyno? Flashes out to safety. Loud gets another kill, up 4-3, but still down 3.5k gold.
I mean, a nice punish from Loud. A bit of a, I guess, lackadaisical TP, not respecting the potential positioning of xyno. But at the same time, look at bot lane, Azael, look at bot lane, there's Twisted Fate, it's just been given a free lane.
I won't, you can't make me. I'm holding my hand over the minimap and I'm pretending that play won them the game.
Yeah, the cross maps from JDG just continue to come through. Poor Xiaoxu, he really has been the target, but he's doing his best, and JDG are making it work, continuing to gain advantages across the rift.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, despite the fact that he died 3 times, he's down 16 gold. Now he's up a couple. You know, it's completely irrelevant, and you look down in mid and bot, and that is so problematic as HongQ going to be working in towards that Lich Bane. GALA probably has his second item ready to go when he goes back to base as well.
But that mid tower is a great example as well of how JDG are just passively winning. And so this is just one of those situations where he's thinking to himself, well, if Envy's come to top, why would xyno be here? And ultimately, it still works in their favor because, again, look at the minimap. You'll see that the Twisted Fate continues to push. And, like, the gank is nice. Sure, you get a kill, but think about how much time this took, how many resources. They got a flash out from xyno, and they got the Ashe arrow out as well. And, I mean, like, sure, the arrow is going to come back up in time for any major objective that happens, but still, that 3.7k gold lead that JDG has, I guess you could argue the good news is that it hasn't gotten bigger. Yeah, it hasn't changed either.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten better, hasn't gotten worse. They're going to go in on Xiaoxu again. This time the equalizer is there. He's trying to kite back, is going to be feared up and knocked down. Envy goes on a killing spree. But still, even with the 3 kills, he's down so much gold because of all the plate gold, the turret gold, the passive from the TF has just made HongQ ridiculously rich. And It is 2 dragons early for JDG, and it's going to be a Hextech Soul available.
He got 220 gold for killing Xiaoxu. I mean, hey, it helps. It's something. It gets you closer to that next major item, and if they can get that top tower as well, it's better than nothing. And Loud, at the very least, are trying to make something happen. They know that Xiaoxu is an easy target. So far, they are finding success at repeated ganks towards this Rumble.
Look at all the spam pings. They're just 100 pings over where YoungJae is, and YoungJae could be in a lot of trouble here. He had the flash, but I don't think he's got anywhere to go. GALA is here. JunJia is here. He overstayed his welcome, and it's a kill there for GALA. Those were furious pings from JDG. About 100 of them getting spammed down on that Nocturne. They're like, this is illegal. He's not allowed to take my blue buff.
And JunJia's going to punish it by stealing some camps of his own. Handing that blue buff over to GALA is going to be a lovely treat. They have the Herald for top lane as well. And I mean, it feels like that every play Loud make, JDG just punish in an even more convincing way. The gold lead now will continue to grow. They're going to get a second charge of this Herald off.
Ooh, little drive-by knock-up just to make him remember you, as Xyno should be able to walk back to the tower no problem. I just love how JunJia was more adamant that they needed to punish the blue buff being taken than his top laner being killed. He's
Absolutely.
like, you can have my Rumble, but leave that blue buff alone, buddy.
That belongs to JunJia and JunJia alone. And he's got a lot of camps that he needs to clear now. With Dragon spawning in a minute 18. Oh, he's actually going to forego his top camps, set his sights on the bot camps, and get ready for that next neutral objective. As Loud are desperately just trying to finish what items they can. The Storm Surge being finished for Envy gives him a decent amount of damage. Maybe it's enough to one-shot GALA. Maybe.
Maybe. And as long as Vampire is around, though, it's going to be tough with the Mantra Inspires, with the heal available, with the Cleanse on GALA. And Ro is about to tick over to 10 for HongQ. He is so accelerated, working in towards that rapid fire cannon next. When he gets that, the team fights are going to be that much easier for them to play out. JunJia says,
revenge.
I'm going to take that blue buff back. Took one off your corpse and now took one out your jungle.
Oh my goodness. I mean, this is a much better look for JDG. It's not been very kill heavy, but they've played exactly as they needed to. They knew they had winning matchups. They knew that if they just kept playing the game, they would just be winning. And they've done a fantastic job. GALA and Vampire continues to dominate in the 2 versus 2. They've taken bot tower, they've taken mid tower, the Herald taking top. And now, with all this vision control set up, there's only one ward in that tiny brush in Loud's bot side jungle. It's not going to be enough for any TP crazy plays. JDG suffocating the vision away from Loud, making it impossible for them to approach.
They really are. And when you're thinking about Loud, you're thinking, okay, well, maybe they can get some picks, right? You know, maybe that's how you get back into it. But Mikhail's is now complete here for Vampire. Xiaoxu going to try to shove his way in. Destiny will be popped here as Xiaoxu's coming in behind him. The equalizer is across everyone. The True Shot Barrage nails the backline. Bull and RedBert are running for here. Xiaoxu is low as well. In comes JunJia onto YoungJae. Envy is here, but they have no recourse in this fight. Loud are set running for the hills immediately thanks to a great equalizer and an even better True Shot Barrage.
JDG don't get any kills, but they demonstrate the strength of the range that they have with this composition. A beautiful ultimate from Xiaoxu followed up by an even better ulti from GALA, forced Loud to immediately have to retreat. This is going to be an uncontested dragon. JDG looking convincing here in game 1 of this best of 5.
They are looking very strong. Going to be able to go down to bot, knock down another tier 2 here. And looking like they are in full control of this game. 4th tower of the game. Has been pretty even as far as the kills, but JDG has been running the map. HongQ now has 10 stacks on the Roa, so an additional skill point in for him. The rapid fire is complete, 21 minutes in. He's on 3 items, plus upgraded boots, plus the Dark Seal. Ridiculously fed, and now JDG's teamfight just gets that much easier because HongQ just walks forward, gold cards anyone, you land all your poke guaranteed. Even if that's Xiaoxu, at this point, they are so fed on the other side that happens a couple times to Xiaoxu and he's out of the fight.
Absolutely. I mean, it's also got to be so frustrating to watch as a CBLOL fan just because it feels like Loud can't do anything. But this is exactly what we talked about in draft, right? So much responsibility falls on the YoungJae. Envy, he tickles JunJia.
Nice little rocket belt there to dodge the vault breaker, but that's about the best you can say because now they're going to be onto the red buff here. Loud will spot it out, but not sure they're going to have an answer to it.
They do not, Azael. It will in fact be an uncontested red. And it seems that JDG taking their time as they have done all game long. Baron is available, as our observers are showing us. They can see very little on the side of Loud.
And they're going to go in. Here comes the Paranoia. He's going to try to get out with the Destiny. Times it well enough TP's out in their face. HongQ, you'll remember the day you almost caught him. But he does stay alive. Perfect 0-0-0 so far on the TF.
That's completely right. He hasn't been able to actually be involved in a single kill so far on the team, but he's got a lot of gold.
And the towers have taken a beating.
Oh, that they have.
They'll remember him.
Level 16 on the TF as well. Means the cooldown on his ultimate should be relatively low at this point in the game. JDG, though, again, like, they realize that the way that they throw this is by overforcing a Baron, doing something unnecessary. Loud still have ways and means of getting into the pit, and a single steal, doesn't matter how far behind you are, that can be a difference maker. So JDG taking their time. I mean, like, it feels like a slow game. We're only 23.5 minutes in, Azael. They're threatening Soul in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And if a single member of Loud gets picked, that's going to be a guaranteed Baron for JDG.
Absolutely is. I mean, JDG are just taking no risks, right? Like you said, they're just bleeding them out slowly, and eventually Loud is going to have to try to force a fight. But when everything has been spotted, when everything is on vision, it's never going to be a good angle for you. And now GALA has 3 items. HongQ has had his 3 for a while. Xiaoxu completes the Bloodletter's Curse, so he's on 2, and JunJia's going to be working in towards the GA. So it's not really going to get better for Loud. They have 2 minutes until this next dragon spawns, and you absolutely must send it at the Hextech Soul. There's no way you can give that over and have a chance in this game. So we'll see if they can find some way to get something done. And I mean, HongQ doesn't have a lot of damage done, but hasn't had to. He's just been playing through the side lanes, and JDG are just playing to this win con.
Yeah, he has absolutely done everything that he needed to. He should have his TP available as well. Oh, I say that. No, he doesn't. Right now he's running the heal. But his ulti is already back off cooldown.
Yep, and has that Destiny, so that's going to be the TP that he needs. And you can see the True Shot Barrage just used to delay the base because they know no one's answering HongQ. Loud are just over-grouping, trying to find plays, and every single time they're getting punished in the side lane. They're losing more minions, they're losing more experience, they're losing more tower plates. And now, as soon as you see xyno up on the top side, guess what? No one can face check JDG or they die. So then JDG just hard invade on the bot side. As long as Sion's not there, there's no way for Loud to walk in. And they're losing all of their vision. They're losing all of their setup. JDG are just making this look so simple, so textbook, just bleeding them out and really giving Loud no recourse whatsoever. I mean,
a game like this is a slow and insidious killer in that it wears away at your mental because you get so frustrated that you just, like, you feel like you're not playing the game, right? Like, all of your camps are being taken. You can't farm any lane. You can't approach anywhere. You just get so frustrated. And, like, we've heard it from players before. They get bored. Like, they want to play the game, man. They want to play League of Legends. They want to click their buttons and they want to interact with the enemy champions. And JDG have said, no, go ahead, make your play. Go ahead, try and act. And they know that the moment that Loud do, it's going to be an overforce. So they have to maintain that patience, wait for that good opportunity. But JDG will not give it to them.
Well, TP going to be coming in here from xyno over towards mid lane. We have all 10 members in the area. 20 seconds until that soul would spawn for JDG. Definitely don't want to give that over to them. xyno has the TP shield, is going to be pretty tanky with that. JunJia getting caught out a little bit, but on the other side, it's RedBert and it's Bull, and they're in a world of trouble. Bull's going to be able to try to get out of their flashes back. YoungJae is already down, though, and now xyno is going to be isolated. The Equalizer in across multiple members. Bull is burning. Bull is down. Envy's going to follow. GALA picks up a double, as all you can do as the Sion is run away. Your teammates are falling left, right, and center. JDG easily win the fight before it even truly starts. RedBert going to be able to buy a little bit of time, but GALA's going to knock him down eventually as well. Make that 3 kills for GALA in the extended play. They're going for the Baron. They can take the Baron, the Soul, the towers, everything all at once.
Loud, they finally decided to look for a fight, but in doing so, they became split up. HongQ and GALA set their sights onto the back line, removing Envy and Bull before the fight can even start. Keep your eyes on how Loud turn their attention to JunJia. They're thinking, hey, maybe we can get a pick here, but look at the back line, the ultimate throw now. HongQ gets a huge stun. So much damage from Vampire and GALA. I mean that the back line is immediately forced to retreat, and with repeated stun cards, a beautiful equalizer. JDG pick apart Loud. They don't lose a single member, and they're going to get a Baron off the back of this play.
And I feel like Equalizer is one of the ults that gets criticized the most in pro play, where people just place it poorly a lot of time. It's kind of a little bit of a different paradigm to place it. Xiaoxu has had perfect equalizers in every single fight.
Absolutely.
They could not be placed better. They're layering on multiple members and covering off their retreat path in every single time. And it's just making it so chaotic for Loud where they're having to kite back nonstop. And seeing that MasterCard priceless moment, they were able to, of course, claim the Baron, claim the Soul, and it feels like they have claimed game number 1. And Loud just trying to hold on. They'll have to retool, regroup, and see if they can get something going in the second game, because this one has definitely been a frustrating one for them. Just have not been able to find the plays they need. It's been a bit of a slow bleed out here. As look at that Mystic shot. Envy takes 2 to the face and is almost dead. The equalizer's going to get dropped onto Bull. Bull is running for the hills, but he's gold carded in the equalizer and is burnt to a crisp. He can go nowhere. It's cow for dinner as JDG charging in. xyno going to get stunned up as well. And there is just no fear from the JDG members, but maybe GALA should have a little. He's going to have to shift back to his team, trying to stay safe. If they're going to go in, the paranoia is going to be popped. But YoungJae hasn't even joined just yet. Now flying in, trying to save RedBert. Envy is fighting as hard as he can, but all they do is pop the GA. Xiaoxu stays alive. xyno flashes back into the fountain. JDG are focusing down the towers. Statin padding a little bit more before this one will end, but they'll knock down the Nexus in just under 30 minutes. It's a 13K gold lead and a very controlled game number 1 from JDG.
Cold, calm, and calculated from JDG.